na wengi kutoka kwa fields mbalimbali.
I pursued diploma in mass communication. After I did my diploma, I ventured into selling rice.
I recently finished my school, also studied mass communication. Well, I'm into beauty.
I started crochet, you know, the unemployment thing, and it was an oops thing, watu wakaanza order. So I decided to take up that as my hustle.
I tell myself, siwezi kosa rent Nairobi because I have the talents.
Ulisema ni laziness
nisipopata rent ni mimi niko lazy.
Kama kawaida, form ni kuongea ikutoke.
Good evening and welcome back to yet another Tuesday of the Gen Z Manifesto. Kama kawaida hapa form ni ile kuongea ikutoke. We are live on K24, Kameme TV, and of course our X space. I'm your host with the absolute most, Miss Kahiro. And today we have only two questions. Number one, what is wrong with our current leadership? Najua hii swali ni triggering sana, yeah? But tunataka uongee ikutoke. What made us go to the streets? Bridge parliament even. Nini hiyo ilikukasirisha to that extent? Why do we so badly want the current leadership out of office? Question number two, are Gen Zs ready to lead the nation? Are we competent enough? Kwanza leo, we have aspiring Gen Z leaders in the building. Watuambie what they plan to do different tukiwapea kura come 2027. Because remember, statistics show that around 14 million Gen Zs are eligible to vote come 2027. I hope tuko ready. The power is in our hands, wadau. So, kwa wenye washaanza kucampaign, maswali ni je, wataanza na roho, wamalizie na mwili like the rest of who came before them? Je, watajenga barabara zilizojengwa tayari? Je, wataanzisha healthcare system mpya, alafu waseme hawana pesa ya kuimaintain, yet billions of money zinaenda kwa private entities? Je, watalipa madaktari 30 coins kama zile za Judas? Do you think Gen Z leaders are up to task? Talk to us on our WhatsApp ama pale X. We want to hear from you. Again, maswali ni mawili tu. What is wrong with our current leaders? And are Gen Zs, the aspiring Gen Zs leaders, ready for the job? Meanwhile, I'm of course joined on studio by my lovely co-host Linda and Kagina. How are you guys, Linda?
Hey, Miss K.
Hi.
You know, leadership and politics plays a significant influence on young people and shaping their perspectives on what they think about the leaders of today. And you see, right here, I have a panel of new blood. Let me just call them new blood. We are
boiling hot blood.
I know, hot blood in that case. So we are here for a very important discussion, shaping the future of the country.
Are Gen Zs ready to lead the nation? That's the question. Kagina?
Well, indeed, we say leadership is a reflection of the society. But in this case, in the Kenyan scenario, it's like we are the rhetorical, rather the spoken about warthog that has a very short memory. We speak of the leaders that we want to get, but when it comes to election, tunasahau, tunachagua madwanzi, then 2 months later tushaanza kuteta about how they are not delivering. Yet from the very beginning, tulikuwa tunawajua their true colors. So it would be interesting to hear today from the very Kenyans that repeat the same mistakes. Leo wakisema, what is it exactly that we want from leaders? Gen Zs, tumeitisha change. Ni nini exactly tunataka kutoka kwao? And for those of us who've stepped up, like Linda, some of them in your panel, we'd want to hear from them. What different are they coming to do? Ama they're just coming to dance to the same tune.
Na kutenga. Umeita kwanza watu madwanzi. Kagina, uko na lawyer? Uko na lawyer? Linda, Kagina, thank you so much. I don't know, director, are we ready for Majibu kwa ground? All right, Majibu, talk to us. Ako pale UON.
Magoti ya nyoka ria. Yes, Miss K, Kagina na Linda. Hey. Unajua nachaya kwa nini? share leo ni noma mazee. Niko live from University of Nairobi na majenzi wenyewe. Nakwambia manifesto tunaandikia leo ama ni aje bana? Haya, wasikie wenyewe ndio hao basi.
Comrades viva! Viva! Comrades ate! Comrades ate! Comrades atu! Comrades zigzaga! Down with bad leadership, down!
Down! Wamesema down with bad leadership, down. Na hiyo ndio tunaongelelea leo hapa. Na mastude mazee hawa ni majenzi wana understand hiyo system vibaya sana. Yes, walienda streets wakasema they are leaderless, wako formless, wako sijui headless, hawana kichwa. Kichwa wako nayo ni uongozi hawana, lakini wako na akili. Hizo vitu zote, lakini sawa mnasema #must go, lakini mko na replacement. Hiyo ndo convo tulikuwa na bonga nayo hapa. Vijana wamejaa content vibaya sana na watakuwa pia wana air out Kenya. Wanataka pia qualities za leaders zenye wale wenye wapata hizi kazi mazee come 2027. Wanataka kuwe na qualities gani kwako Miss K?
Majibu na kuambia watu huko wako very ready for Tuesday, very ready for Tuesday. And again we are asking, must go. And then what? Do we have leaders in mind when tunataka kuweka in those political seats? Are we competent enough? Linda, I want to hear from one of your guys from your end. Sijui tuchukue let me see. MP aspirant of Mwea.
Actually, we have so many aspirants right here, but we like to call them young leaders.
Oh, they're young leaders.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Let's
Just
begin.
the one in front of you, Moses here.
Absolutely. Kindly introduce yourself and tell us about the topic of today. What do you think about this leadership of the day?
Amazing. Yes, my name is Moses Maina, a graduate of Analytical Chemistry, Multimedia University of Kenya, practicing real estate and property management, currently a co-founder of Silma Riatas. That's where I am, an aspiring Moya MP 2027. What I would say is that the current leaders has really failed us because, things are all the same since when I got to school. And in my 24 years of existence, I feel like nothing has changed, more so in my home constituency. And that is why I have the spirit to go and lead there. Because I feel like what we need mostly is more of accountability and transparency in our leaders. And that has been lacking in them. I think, personally, what I would do different is that I would be accountable and transparent to my constituencies. In this sense, if, for example, there's a certain budget, the money that gets to HGCDF yearly, I have the money, I call for public participation in all the wards in my constituency, and ensure people give me their views on which are the priority projects that they want to be started.
Yeah.
Yes.
But even before you continue, we'll first begin with what is wrong with this particular government. What are those issues that you feel like they are the real programs? But then let's take it back to Ms. K.
All right, Linda, hapo amesema kitu important sana. Accountability ndio shida kubwa sana so far, according to Moses Maynard. Now let's go back to Majibu kwa ground pale UON. The injectors are ready to inject. Majibu.
Nimesimama tu hata sijasonga. Ni watu nyinyi mnasonga tu mnaelekea.
Haya, msharudi. Sawa. Bado niko area, bado na majenzi hapo mazee. Wacha nianze basi nianze na nani? Chairman ni nani? Hata uonekane basi kuja hapa. So, Mlenda Streets, yes. Mkasema mko leaderless, mko formless, mko headless, hizo vitu zote. Sawa. Mko na replacement?
Kwa sasa hivi hatuna replacement, lakini bado tunaangalia ground na tutapeana direction very soon.
Direction, okay, hamna hata chama. Direction inatoka wapi?
Sasa mimi nataka niambie wananchi na wale ambao wanatusikiza wakiwa huko nyumbani. This is not the right time ya kusema ya kwamba tunatengeneza vyama ama nini. Sasa tunaangalia kitu inaitwa ideology. Mtu mwenye ata support au vijana wenye wanahangaika kwenye streets, mtu mwenye anaangazia mambo ya employment, ndio tunataka kuangalia kwanza, kwa sababu kuna wale wanajifanya kama kinyonga, lakini huko nyuma wako na vitu ambavyo havifurahishi mwananchi.
Sawa, shikilia hapo, acha nibonge na mwingine. Umesema story ya mse anaangalia issues na affect wase employment, ni na issues ni mingi. Mtaangalia aje mjio mse basi yako sawa, tunaweza mtrust na hii job. Sina do sahi hata ya kufinance wase waende ama kupatia kazi mse. Nitafanyaje? Na mimi I'm very much passionate about being a good leader, na mimi naweza kwa kiongozi fit.
Wote wanajua time tukienda streets. Tulienda streets juu ya issues. Tulikuwa na mambo ambayo tuliona government haifanyi poa. Ndio maana tulienda streets. Na saizi tumewapatia time kidogo. Sisi tumenyamaza ama tuna nguvu. Hata kesho tukiamua tunajitoa tu wananchi wote, jenzi wote. Juu hatutaki wazee. Tunataka watu tunaweza kimbizana na polisi. Tuliwapea time tuangalie kama wanaweza address hizo issues. Na tunawapima. Na tunapima watu kuanzia juu, kuanzia kwa Rais Ruto hadi chini.
Sawa, sijui kama mnanielewa. Hebu tuelewane hapa. Sasa hivi mnasema mkitokea streets mtatokea tena. Ni nani ule basi mnaweza sema huyu akitomea tutokee streets tutaenda? Hamna kiongozi.
Sisi tunakuwa driven na issues. Issues kama tuseme sasa hizi venye tunasema jenzi wote hawana pesa. Pesa iko kwa mfuko. Hiyo ni issues ina affect yule na ina affect yule. Na tukifeel wote tuko na very means mingi ya kucommunicate. Tuko na Twitter, social media saizi ina bridge watu wote. Inaleta watu wote pamoja. Na sisi tutaungana si eti lazima Raila ndiye atuambie ama Ruto ama someone. Sisi issues kama tumefeel kuna pesa na government haitaki kutengeneza venye wananchi na jenzi wanaweza kuwa na pesa. Mambo ya education hawataki kuaddress. Mambo ya health hawataki kuaddress. Sisi tutatoka na tutadiaddress. Na wao venye tutaiaddress.
Acha hata mimi nionekane kwa TV basi. Songeni hapo kidogo tu. Kwa hiyo ndio usitaki kuonekana. Hata mimi kuna watu wananitazama bana. Haya, wacha nikuje kwa Bazenga hapa hivi. Kuja hapa pia uonekane basi. Ni qualities gani zenye mnaangalia kwa leaders?
Sasa mimi naweza sema kiongozi lazima akuwe na roho safi, azin amue kutoka ndani yake anataka kufanyia kazi wa Kenya. Si mtu mwenye anaangalia akiingia huko anafikiria tu mfuko yake. Lazima tu afikirie atafanyia wananchi kazi, maendeleo.
Haya, hapo kwa mfuko hapo. Kuna wale maboys wenye walitoka kwa streets. Ni mayusi kama nyinyi akina Casmuel. Waliongoza majenzi at that time nilikuwa mnafikiria labda ndio viongozi wenu basi. Alafu after hao wase wameingia kwa wameshikana na wase kidogo, Casmuel ameingia pale kwa ODM Youth League, mnamuona kama traitor aje? Na hamna chama.
Sasa okay.
Haya, wanasema kuna yeye anataka kujibu. Alafu nitakuja kwako.
Alafu niachie watu. Kwanza wewe Casmuel, naangalia hii kamera vizuri. Wewe ulitumia hii nafasi kwa sababu ulikuwa unapewa air na media, alafu ukaenda huko ukajifanya wewe ni sycophant. Kitu ya kwanza ni kama ulitumwa na watu fulani ukaenda ukajichukulia kama wewe ni Gen Z, alafu ukachukua, kuna watu walikufa.
But mbona hamkuona hiyo from the word go?
Unajua wakati
down with Caswell down.
Down
with Caswell down.
Down
with Betrayers down.
Down
with Marara Kebaso down.
Gen
Z power.
Sasa nikimalizia kwamba kuna watu unajua hii wakati tulianza hii msukumo wa Gen Z ilikuwa like atujui hao watu, lakini unajua nyinyi watu wa media mlichukulia watu specific mkaanza kuwa lift. Sasa wakaanza kujifanya, alafu wakaanza kuenda vitanda na serikali. Sasa hiyo ndio ilifanyika, lakini this time round
sawa. Wacha niulize hivi basi. So hamtaki ama ule kiongozi mnataka basi mna feel like undo atatuongoza, hamtaki akuwe in any way associated na wadusonyo wamekuwa kwa gava all along. Mnataka wajipange aje?
Let me be brief on that. First of all, it is with pitipodismo pismo. Seeing us here, we are not a group of praise and worship team. Tuko hapa na tumekasirika sana. Kwa hiyo mambo eti unasema you asked about yule kiongozi wetu, tunataka ajiassociate aje. If you have a wife who is associating herself with the ex-boyfriend, you are not having a wife. So kama sisi watu tunataka watu lead, hawezi kuwa wanajihusisha na government like the Samuel. Kasmuel alikuwa na Itel. Simu alikuwa nao ni Itel, akanunuliwa iPhone, akapewa gari
najuaje alipatiwa hiyo simu.
No, I have full evidence iko kwa karatasi. Sasa tumeamua hivi. Bado hatujapanga mtu anatulead. Time ikifika tutasema mtu anatulead.
Haya, acha basi niulize nani mwingine basi. Acha mheshimiwa. Haya. Acha basi aonekane fiti basi. Onekana kabisa. Haya, acha basi nikuulize. Kwanza hata umepiga suti kali kabisa. Una feel Gen Z wako na hiyo nguvu basi wakisema tunataka kungangania system tuko na top leadership come 2027. Wewe unafikiria Gen Z wako na hiyo nguvu ya kupi. Sio wako na do man.
Issue naweza sema hapa sio pesa. Unaona unity ni kitu ya maana kwanza. Tukisimama kama leaderless ama tribeless, let me emphasize on tribeless, then we got all the powers to get there. For these people who have money to rig a system, lazima wakuwe na at least some percentage of votes. But tukiamua tupige block kama Gen Z, hakuna mtu anaweza iba kutoka kwa zero. So sisi kama Gen Z, tukiamua kwamba tutapiga kura yetu place moja, hakuna mtu atatuibia. Ni sisi tutamua tuibiwe, ama sisi tutamua tusimame.
Haya, acha niulize hivi. Kuna msanii anataka kuongea hapa nini? Bryos mnamcheki? Haya, acha nikuulize. Ni nini ngori na hii gava ya sahi ama ni nini ile issue yenye mnaweza pointa tumsemee hii hatuitaki na tukera?
Shukran. Kitu ngori na hii gava ya sahi kuna venye inatupimia sisi kama comrades. Unajua hapa ni University of Nairobi. Kitu ya kwanza ni funding model. Tumejua gava imekuwa ikitupimia hadi hii disbursement ya last pesa zetu zilikuwa zinakatwa na 500. Sijui kama comrades hapa nje wamerealize. Na si kitu mzuri hata kidogo. Sisi tunasema aje, mambo bado. Kazi mambo bado, safari ni ya Ikulu. Kazi ndio tunaanza. Na kama ni ngoja kwanza. Na kama ni maandamano watapata maandamano, tutaleta comeback ya ile maandamano ya last year. Sikia, usikichukua kwanza.
Haya, acha basi. Kuna msema kidogo tu. Mpatie chance. Haya, malizia.
Sasa nasema hivi, unaona ngoja tulieni, unaona hadi hapa University of Nairobi hatutaki government projects. Kuna wase wengine wanatumiwa na gava ndio wakuja watu rule. Done with government projects, and then the government is using something called divide and rule. Unacheki, so, at the time some of us are on the
acha nikuulize swali. Malizia basi.
At the time some of us are on the streets, we are occupying anniversary towers and so on. Inaitwa Jogo House. Watu wengine puppets wengine wanaenda kukana gava State House, wanaenda kunywa chai, wanaekewa kama kukunywa kahawa na Itumi. Na sisi tuna occupy anniversary, tunapigwa tear gas. Mimi nasema hivi, ngoja kwanza, tuna reject government project. Mtu kama Zainab hakuna kitu anafanya.
Acha niulize hivyo. Kidogo. Nakuja kwako. Nakuja kwako. Unajua amebonga point ya maana sana. Msema amesema amtaki projects za gava. Aje okay, mkisema hamtaki majenzi, mkisema hamtaki hizi projects na mnajenga mabarabara na mzitaki, sasa mtaka uonyeshe nini yaonyesha wana perform? Acha nimalize kidogo tu, dakika moja nakuja kwako.
Nataka kusema hii serikali imetuangusha sana. Mimi nimekuwa na opportunity, nimetembea kwa hizi counties zote, all the 47 counties nimetembea, all the constituencies nimetembea. Vijana wamehangaika.
Wewe ni mwanasiasa?
Mimi si mwanasiasa, mimi nasema
nani alikupeleka huko? Nani kupeleka huko kote?
Mimi nimekuwa nikitembea cause nafanya na foundation. So nimekuwa nikitembea kufanya projects za foundation. So nimeona vile vijana wanahangaika, vijana hawana kazi. Vijana wana kazi na wamesoma, na sisi tumehangaika kabisa.
Haya, acha Bazenga amechachisha sana. Umesema unataka kwenda. Acha malizia basi. Point out zile issues una feel gava as in gava haifanyi fit, like zile zinakukera kabisa kama Gen Z na kama citizen.
Asante mwana telecaster. Sasa nasema hivi, mimi na feel government haifanyi fiti. Kitu cha kwanza government hii issue na new funding model. Kitu cha pili issue na hii kitu sijui shwa nini. Unajua saa hii watu ukienda hosi, juzi nilikuwa Mama Lucy Hospital. Kuna rafiki yangu fulani alikuwa na bili ya 78,000 na gavasa idai kusaidia shit. Sasa mimi nauliza aje, pesa zinaenda wapi kwa hii government? Sijauliza kwa ubaya. Alafu sisi kama Gen Z tumeamua, unajua saa hii, unajua siku hizi sisi tunakaa tunaangalia TV, tunaingia kwa media, tunaona hata Sudi juzi alisema aje ati kura hata kama itatosha wataongeza kura. Usitoe microphone ndugu yangu. Sawa.
Kidogo tu. Haya. Hey. Umesikia? Hawa ni mastude mazee. Na muhimu wana point out zile issues zenye wana feel gava zinawakosea sana, haifanyi fiti. Na pia way forward mazee, ni sawa mnasema must go, lakini mko na leader. Way forward ni gani mazee? Ndo convo tuko nayo, na kuna bazenga mbonga fiti sana, pole nimekukatia. Tuarudi. Ni kidogo tu alafu turudi. Mambo ya shisha ni wanafunzi pia, mambo ya funding model zinawakera sana. Na hizo ndio issues zenye wana feel gava inafaa ku rectify moving forward. Break kidogo studio, alafu turudi hapa hivi endelee convo na majenzi mazee. Leo ni kumoto. Noma sana studio.
Thank you so much, Majibu. As you have heard, watu wameinject. Funding model especially wameongelea sana. SHA, kwanza kuna history mpya tumesikia ati apparently the government, this entity is being handled by private entities. That's diabolical. Again, question of the day is, haya, sawa, must go. But do you have replacements? Are Gen Zs ready to lead the nation? Kagina, naomba sana tuanze hii panel discussion, okay?
Discussing about, the misgivings of the current leadership and probably what we'd be looking at as a country, the best people to participate in this conversation would be one person who was initially abducted for his criticizing of the government initially. That is Joshua Okayo with me right here in the panel. Joshua also happens to be a wakili, a very serious one at the Kenya School of Law. And also with me is a social media influencer, content creator. Probably if you're on TikTok, you've probably come across her content. She's Ms.
Charlotte
Kibet. She leads the conversation under the title Big Talk. And we also have Willie Oeba.
Yeah.
Willie Oeba has been doing what we have now all or universally accepted to be termed as injecting in public transport. Sio matatu, si mpaka ndege akipata nafasi. He's there injecting. And so these people will be here to assist me delve into the conversation of one, what ni wapi the current leadership imemwanje, and secondly, our Gen Z wenye wanasema they want to replace, can they actually make it? But this conversation cannot be complete without panel upande wa Linda.
Well, you see Kagina, nataka sana wainjectie kwanza hii area. Would you allow me just to give one lady? Okay, well, let me not bust the bubble yet. Let me just leave you to go on with the conversation. What I inject? Wamengoja sana.
Well, indeed, we are going for a short commercial break. We'll be right here with this conversation. Don't go far.
Mtumaini Bwana kwa moyo wako wote, wala usitegemee ufahamu wako mwenyewe. Katika njia zako zote mtambue, naye atazielekeza njia zako. Mithali sura ya 3 mstari wa 5 hadi wa 6.
Ili kuset Mtumaini Bwana kama skiza tune yako, dial *811 *618#.
Santa vuko na cash kwa box na best na umetabo ine ya Kameme TV. Hayotho kiri na mweka kuya besha kumagwa Kameme TV. Okwa dhimo yaku yagwa kwa hinya star 317 hash. Dhimo yaku yagwa kwa hinya star 317 hash. Wahinyo gwori uko na box idano. Box ya bere box ya kere box number 3, box number 4 kinya box number 5. Ukashagura yaku ya munyaka. Wadina bere gauti amount no gwekira igatata shirigi 70 kinya shirigi girie mweko kemami wina mweka kuya besha kuma gwa Kameme TV. Imagine kemami mweri by the way murishigana mweri nya muri kiri wa match tabedi moina besha yuko matikanete reherent adiri wako bete hadu ogwo athini wa star 317 hash shagura box yako myaka ushoko ekira amount gatata shirigi 70 ginya girie mwe twende kazi.
People Daily, Kenya's trusted newspaper, is making history as the first daily to go fully digital. By transitioning from print to the PD News app, we are delivering the same exceptional journalism you've relied on for years in a completely new way to experience it. It's news for today and the future. No paper, no waste. Just real-time updates and customizable stories. This is a leap towards innovation, sustainability, and a better experience for you, our reader. Download the PD app now on Play Store and App Store. People Daily. News that moves with you.
Na raundi hii January tuna survive na maringos, manjoti, mabike, mapopcorns. Odibets app. Very nice. Very nice.
Skuma January na Odibets. Wekelea kwa Odibets app upate za kupiga January. Odibets, very nice.
Kiumia giki tabarĩra-inĩ ya Kayo ka mũrĩmi tũrarĩma kĩmerera na tũrĩ kaunti-inĩ ya Kiambu.
Kũringana na mĩaka ĩrĩa ndutĩte nĩ nyonete nĩ ũratigia na ũndũ ũngĩ nĩ atĩ ti arĩmi aingĩ ao gani makona na mũmera ũmwe. Koguo nĩ wakora nĩ ũrendia gĩtũngũrũ haha, nĩ ũrendia nyanya, nĩ ũrendia herbs, nĩ ũrendia ũkĩ. Koguo wanyitithania tũbeca tũu tũnini wakora nĩ wathondeka mbeca nyingĩ hanini gũkĩra mũrĩmi ũyũ ũngĩ. Nĩ ũrĩmi maguka maitũ marĩmaga tene. Koguo nĩ kuma mbegũ iria tũrahanda, thumu ũrĩa tũrahũthĩra na ndawa iria tũrahũthĩra. Koguo wakora ũrĩmi ũcio ndũragũra indo cia kuma na nja na kwĩ andũ maciĩtaga chemicals kana thumu. Rĩta rĩrĩa rĩega nĩ thumu tondũ nĩ kĩndũ kĩroraga. Koguo nĩ kweherera indo icio na kweherera thogora ũcio wa kũgũra indo icio thĩinĩ wa magrovets maitũ.
Itenere na ithuĩ tũkũmenyithie, tũgũthomithie na mũthia tũtigĩrĩre nĩ wekĩra ciringi mũhuko amu to kũrĩma nĩ kũrĩma gũkũmia.
Wewe ulitafuta kura na ukapata. Sisi tulipata rais lakini bado tunalipa ushuru. Kwa nchi mwananchi analipa standing charges kwa kila kitu ndio huyo MP apate sitting allowance. Kwa nchi hakuna kazi, mayouth kila mahali inabidi wamejiandika kama Flosin Mauano. Do you know the leaders of tomorrow are being killed today? Ni guts tu hakuna but everyone has something to say. Manifesto hope hazina, our mothers have resorted to pray. Na watoto wa CBC nani atawafunza hiyo tumechoka. Even Rihanna doesn't want you to stay. Kwa nchi hata Chief Justice ana cry for justice. Hakuna mtu akoshua na hii katiba, ndio maana lawyers wana practice. Dear Mr. President, let's talk about morals. Tunaishi kwa nchi pia your deputy yako na mavice.
Well, right there, that is Willie Oeba. And that is how he speaks continuously, pointing out the rights and the wrongs zenye ziko kwa the current leadership in different sectors. Na hajaanza sahi, ameanza kitambo kidogo. But just to continue with this conversation, allow me to engage the lawyer mwenye bado ana practice. Well, Okayo.
Yeah.
Many a times we've criticized the current regime of leadership that we have in this country, or rather that we have been having in this country. But top of the list, what stands out most for you? Nini yani kwa hiyo list ya the wrongs of the current leadership ambazo zimekukera sana wewe?
I think from my point of view, and as a lawyer, it's impunity. People doing wrongs in every aspect, but then they never get to be charged. They never get to pay for those wrongs. No one ever gets to probably, prosecute them, to the extent that people just steal billions of Kenya shillings and we watch and there's nothing. I mean, we've been left to be powerless. And that there's nothing we can do as a people. Hakuna feeling mbaya kama ku feel like there's nothing you can do about something. Yeah. It's a feeling yenye unakaa chini and there's nothing you can do about something. That's how we've been left to feel, the people of Kenya.
So there's impunity?
Impunity. People do wrongs of whichever kind and they never get to pay for it. Number two, now let's talk about, the specific wrongs. Corruption. It's killing us, all right? Just about a few minutes ago, we've heard about the SHA system that was procured fraudulently. I mean, these guys did not go through the provisions in the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act, all right? And there was no public participation. Something that goes something that is being implemented for the benefit and interest of the public should be implemented after engaging the public. We were never engaged. We were never told. This was just an executive directive coming that NHIF is bad and now we need another system.
So there's also corruption.
Yes, which is actually we are encouraged, and I encourage people to say this is theft. These are thieves. We are quoting these words with very sweet words like corruption and all that. This is theft. All right?
And thirdly?
Incitement to violence. We have someone who should be the symbol of national unity, going to various regions and telling people that unajua nyinyi watu ni important kuliko wale wengine. Nyinyi watu wa Bungoma hapa.
Let's hold it at that.
All right.
Allow me to engage Ms. Shalette. For you, what stands out in terms of tabia mbaya ya the current leadership? Yani ile wamekuja sana.
So I won't go into maybe broader aspect because I think he's mentioned some of those things, but I just want to give a clarification in terms of maybe the Gen Z movement will have even come during Uhuru's government, right? But it just happened this time, sawa. Maybe we were young, maybe our minds were not yet funguka at that time, but we are not attacking him or individuals personally, but we are attacking a system that has continuously been there since independence. And now Kenyans are waking up towards it. I think for me, one thing that aches my heart every single time is a lack of accountability. That when Kenyans are saying, hey, tunaumia, other than you saying, hey, here's a solution, we are sorry, let's rectify it, you put someone and that someone comes and says, actually, nyinyi mnadanganya, inakumiza more because you're saying, no, I'm telling you, I'm hurting. You as a people, we have given you these elective positions to go to, other than telling me that we are going to rectify the solution, you turn it back. It's like gaslighting, right? It's like you're telling me, actually, wewe ndio uko wrong, by the way, right? And I think that irks me a lot because actually people are still, watu wanapitia a lot in this nation. It's just not equal in this nation.
Right,
so the lack of accountability is quite intriguing to me.
All right, Oeba.
Yeah.
Same question as I've passed to the two previous panelists. For the current leadership, what are the three things that you can't take anymore?
One, we as citizens are a reflection of, our leaders are a reflection of who we are as a society.
Yeah.
So number one, we voted ICC inductees 3 times, is it even 4 times? and exonerated them into power. That is one. Two, we are still fighting the same things we have been fighting for since independence. That is poverty, ignorance, and disease. Three, the indignity of the citizens, the indignity meted on the ordinary citizen. You know, it is only in Kenya and in Nairobi that systems don't work for the citizens of that state. And like right now you're seeing in Nairobi, there's so much gentrification and disparity in income distribution. There's so much gentrification and people cannot afford to live in this city. People cannot afford to live, and Nakuru is also a city, Eldoret is also a city. Now the poor people cannot afford to live in Kenya. It's becoming, with overtaxation, it's becoming unbearable to live in dignity in this society.
All right, well, indeed, we are going to be coming back and delving more to this conversation. But Linda, it would be interesting to hear with the young or rather youthful leaders, wale wameacha kuwa wa kesho na sasa kesho yao imekaribia, have to say also about this conversation here tonight.
Absolutely, Kavina. Let's get to hear what they have to say about the wrongs about this particular governments. Let's talk about leadership mishaps. Let's begin with you. Kindly introduce yourself. Ni nini umeona kasoro kwa hii gava?
Good evening. My name is Sophie Mogure Njihia. I go by Mogure Njihia on my socials, TikTok, X. I am aspiring to be the MCA of Thika Township Ward. And before that, I'm aspiring to be the first person to recall my area MP.
And why?
When IBC is fully formed, myself and Alice Nganga have a date. So why do we have a date? It will answer the question of what I think is wrong with our leaders. They talk to us as if we did not give them those positions. Alice Nganga said that she would want to see what a young person would do to her, what we can do because we are ignorant, we have nothing in between our ears. She said that if we dare take that nonsense to Thika, she will show us. Well,
but then she is not here to defend herself.
I'm willing to take the nonsense.
Yes.
Number two, if you think about how a person treats Mother Nature, it clearly just shows you the sort of a person you are. So the leaders that we have in place today have completely neglected the nature of this nation.
Thank you.
Kenya is full of litter. Kenya is full of dirt. So I think that for me is part of the reason why I want this system gone, that no one cares about the common one.
Thank you. Let's get another comment from Kali. Kali, Vitu Kali too. Kali, introduce yourself. You're one of the young leaders that we know. Introduce yourself and tell us what are some of the wrongs then you might identify. What is this government getting it wrong?
Okay, thank you. My name is Kali Kimanzi, aspiring MP for Mwingi North come 2027. There are several issues that really pisses me off with this government. One is they lack respect to human life. And that is the problem with the current society that we are having, because our leaders are our reflection. Who profits of COVID? Who profits of making a system that is responsible for the health of 55 million Kenyans, and you're profiting off their death? That shows clearly that we are not respecting human life. Once we respect basic human life in this country, we are going to change that.
Thank you,
and
Kali.
that's the reason why I even want to, that's why I'm vying, because we need to bring that. Once we fix that, we are going to fix everything else, be it water, be it roads, and everything else. But before we do that, let's have a strong penalty to the current regime. Yes.
Thank you so much. Let's get it from this lady right there. Kindly introduce yourself and also tell us what are some of the things that you've identified that you feel like this is not good leadership.
Okay, thank you. My name is Vasrogen Nyambura Mothani, but you can call me Vas. Aspiring to be the first woman president in this great country.
Well.
So answering your question is in accordance to Chapter 6 of the Kenyan 2010 Kenyan Constitution, it states what is expected of a leader, and these are attributes that we seek for in our leaders. So what's that? Honesty, people who have interests that are in line with what your Kenyans need. Your
What are those
citizens
attributes that you feel like are not correct in this particular leadership that we are today?
One is honesty, and if you all know that we have Mtukufu flies, something that it's very evident, right? We expect honesty from anyone that we elect or is appointed in that position. We expect you to be championing for the interest of us as citizens of your country, not your personal interest. So I think that's one of the few reasons that we feel like must go.
Thank you.
And in addition to that,
As you wind up, yes.
Okay, I think we also have a misunderstanding as Kenyans. With the 2010 constitution, we have the separation of powers from the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. So I feel like the constitution is not honored. According to how I read and interpret the constitution, it's not honored as it should be. So that's why there is that disconnect. Just a simple example, the National Assembly. The National Assembly, their work is to legislate and pass policies and laws in Parliament, that those policies are supposed to be implemented by the executive. But we also entrust the National Assembly with funds. They allocate funds, then we already trust them with CDF. What for? So that shows that there is no clear understanding of what is supposed to be done and what is expected of
There is a huge gray area in this. Thank you so much. Perhaps just allow me to get one more sentiment from him. Kindly introduce yourself, and also what are those attributes that you feel like a leader should have that this particular regime, the government of the day, is lacking in terms of leadership?
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Marvin Mabonga, and I'm aspiring to be the Member of Parliament in Kimilili constituency. I think I'm the only Gen Z who is on the ground campaigning at the moment, engaging the people.
And why?
So, honestly, currently, we're having shysters as the leaders, discombobulated, cantankerous, because you find these people, you were elected to go in an office to lead people, but from January to December, you are always on top of cars. Why are you doing on top of cars? We don't have files and so on and so forth, whatever the people of Kenya wants. So the leaders that you are having, they need to know why they were elected. Number one, they need to go to office to ensure that they do exactly what the Constitution of Kenya wants to be done.
What are the loopholes, though?
Okay, like for instance now, look at how these people are donating money. You know, there is no way you were elected in office. You are in office for 2 years, and your salary is barely 1.2 million. And then every now and then you are donating millions of money, in fact, in cash. So these money, where are they coming from? So when we are entering that offices as the leaders, we are going to ensure that we close these loopholes where our cash is being taken from. Because you find out that there is no instance where you donate 100 millions in a church. Where is that money coming from? So we as leaders, we are going to ensure that we have accountability. We are going to ensure that instead of people driving on top of cars, they should be in an office to serve the people.
So there's lack of transparency.
There's lack of
Thank you so much.
And
Thank
that's
you so
why
much.
even on my posters,
Mabonga, you will
just a
still
minute,
get some time.
Just a minute.
All right.
We need transparency, accountability, and good governance.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, remember, this conversation is still on all our social media platforms, K24 TV, Kameme TV, as well as Express. Well, Ms. Cairo, what are people saying on all our social media platforms?
Linda, thank you so much. Tunataka kuingia Express kiasi. There's a guy called Wambulwa Wefuafwa who is ready to inject or ready to give us his opinion. Hello, Wambulwa.
Yes, magoti ya nyoka. Ona ni icon hiyo yani. LKC boardroom, main campus boardroom, Kikuyu boardroom.
Okay, we will get back to Wambulwa in a minute. For now, let's get feedback. Maybe za WhatsApp pale. Okay, there's a guy who is ready. Sorry, let's go back to X. Foreman, please tell us. Foreman? Okay, Foreman pia tutarudi kwako in a minute. For now.
Yeah, my name is Foreman, and I just want to highlight the things we have been seeing. I come from Kibwezi West. Kibwezi West is a place where we have the MP called Mwengi Mutuse. Look at the audit report which was being given. The guy had built a dry swimming pool. Those are the kind of the leaders we don't want in these offices. Because like imagine a guy using almost millions of money to build a swimming pool and there is no water. Those are the angers which are driving Gen Zs to these protests. Those are the things which are driving Gen Zs to take up those seats. Because like there is zero accountability of those things. There is zero transparency of the money which these leaders are having in the name of doing development for their areas. Coming from this constituency, this is a very dry area. Kibwezi West is a very dry area. I've never seen my area MP around. I just hear about bursary disbursement, but I've never seen any child who said, I've got bursary. I think the last time I heard about bursary disbursement, I think it was around 2022. Now this guy is moving motions against Gashago and all that, but now he's forgetting about his area, the development of his area. These things are the things which are making us bitter each and every day. We need to hold these people accountable, and if they can't be held accountable, we need to move them from the offices and occupy those offices. At least if we have someone who is accountable, there is a lot of money in Kenya. It's only that it is not used to the right purpose. Thank you.
Thank you. We are ready for Wambulwa. David Achola is ready. Okay, let's hear from Mr. David.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. See this thing of we trying to say and trying to do to change this, we can't change. Corruption is in our DNA. All we need is Kenya need to be recolonized fast, so that those people who stole from the government money be recovered, so that we start from same page, clean page. All of these things of we trying to change, we can't. It's not. It won't work. Thank you.
All right, David, thank you so much for that honest opinion. Let's get some more feedback from WhatsApp. Let me see. Are we ready? Okay, aya, chani karibie tusome. Aha. Our leaders are corrupt and self-centered with bad intentions. That's what one guy is saying. Let's see some more feedback. The current administration has really failed Kenyans. For example, there are problems all over. Health system is a problem, education, rising cost of living, projects launched. Yani tu anasema kuna mashida mingi sana. Well, as a Kenyan, I'm really tired and fed up with the current government. But then swali ni je, then what? Now tumechoka. And that's what we want to find out today. I support the guy who's saying they want government projects. The government is just launching projects and not working on them. I think he meant to say they don't want government projects. One of the UON students was very clear about that. Anasema ni kama tunatumiwa somehow. Aha, hashtag must go. I'm Alan from Bisil. The whole issue about this government is promises which are made and not fulfilled. This government lacks a wholesome idea of leading this nation. Tumekuwa tukisikia tumetengewa pale tunafaa kwenda majuu, you know. Sijui kama kuna mtu ameenda majuu so far because the president alimpeleka. Well, ile siku viongozi wa Kenya watajifunza kuweka uwazi kwa kila shilingi. Let's get that back. All right, sawa. Kagina, let's go back to your panel, all right?
Well, indeed, we continue with the conversation. Ya leadership ya inchi iko headed in what direction? Now, initially we raised the question of what's wrong with the current leadership. But now, allow me to go back to my panelists, starting with Oeba right here. are Gen Zs who are pushing for change the ideal kind of leaders that we are looking for? Do they have what it's got to bring change in this country?
Yes, we, first of all, the idea ya Gen Z came, you know, the Kenyan government is a very big propaganda machinery. So it came around with propaganda, hawa watu wanataka iPhones, hawa watu wanataka KFC, moms talk to your kids, you know. But tukakubali, yes, we are Gen Zs, but we want change. So the whole idea around Gen Z is the idea that we need change kwa hii society. So we have leaders, we have very good idealists kwa hii movement ya Gen Zs, people who can create change. What we are trying to off kidogo, even as a challenge to Gen Z, is to scrap away the imperialist idea of change, that change is instant, and to realize that literally we are standing on the shoulders of giants. Even to have this conversation right now, there are people who died so that we can have the freedom of speech and freedom of expression. So we will get there. We are not where we want to be, but we have to respect the fact that we are not where we used to be. So we are getting there pole pole. And I want to echo what Foreman said. One thing we need to do is to revolutionize our mindset. I don't know why to normalize impunity, trying to audit reports za MPs. Role of an MP kwa constitution ni representation, because MP hafai kuwa na vote, hafai kuwa na budget, because there's no one oversighting an MP. So ukianza kusema basari, ukianza kusema Mutuse amejenga swimming pool, we are normalizing impunity. Those MPs should be jailed. MP hafai kumanage CDF. Na majenzi mnataka kwenda kuwa MP, kama mnadhania CDF iko, tutawafunga. MP hafai kumanage CDF because there is no oversight. Nani ana oversight MP? MP ako hapo kutu represent.
All right, we'll be coming back to that conversation. Na ningependa tu tujiulize hii swali. Wanasema mtoto wa nyoka ni nyoka. We'd want to know kama the current leadership is that evil. How different is Gen Z? Will they manage to? That is after the break. But for now, allow us to take a breather. We'll be back with this conversation.
Santa vuko na cash kwa box na best now metabo ina Kameme TV. Hello dokiri na mweka kuya besha kumagwa Kameme TV. Okwa dhimo yaku yagwa kwa hinya star 317 hash. Dhimo yaku yagwa kwa hinya star 317 hash. Wahinyo gwori uko na box idano. Box ya bere box yake eri box number 3, box number 4 kunya ya box number 5. Ugashagura yaku ya munyaka. Wadina bere gauti amount no gwekira igatata shirigi 70 kunya shirigi giriye mweko kemami wina mweka kuya besha kumagwa Kameme TV. Imagine mami mweri by the way murishigana mweri nya muri kiri wa match tabedi moina besha uko matikanete reherent adiri wako bet hard ogwo then wa star 317 hash shagura box yako minyaka ushoko ikira amount gatata ashiriki 70 ginyagiriye mwe twende kazi.
Na raundi hii January tuna survive na maringos, manjoti, mabai, popcorns, all the bets up. Very nice. Very nice.
Skuman January na Odibets. Wekelea kwa Odibets app upate za kupiga January. Odibets. Very nice.
Santa vuko na cash kwa box na best now metabo ine ya Kameme TV. Hello kiri na mweka kuya besha kumagwa Kameme TV. Okwa dhimo yaku yagwa kwa hinya star 317 hash. Dhimo yaku yagwa kwa hinya star 317 hash. Wa hinyo gwori uko na box idano. Box ya bere box ya kere box number 3, box number 4 kinya box number 5. Ukashagura yaku ya munyaka. Wadina bere gauti ya mount no gwekira igatata shirigi 70 kinya shirigi girie mweko kemami wina mweka kuya besha kuma gwa Kameme TV. Imagine kemami mweri by the way murishigana mweri nya muri kiri wa match tabedi moina besha uko matikanite reherent adiri wako bet hadu ogwo athini wa star 317 hash shagura box yako myaka ushoko ikira amount gatata shirigi 70 ginya girie mwe twende kazi.
Farm Ventures Limited kabuni jorwa hare wendia wa migoda nera kurehere mieke miega ya weigithia
gukugethia oko tukamurehera Neema Gardens Phase 3 Kavaini mugondore hutetie bara nene ya Thika Garissa Road na thogora wa grima matatu mwana wa makutano interchange ya guthie Mwea tukamurehera Ushindi Gardens Phase 5 na thogora wa grima matano ma 52
migoda itu yothe ni 50 by 100 na bei cito ni title deed inclusive tucerere guku mwena wa Thika Maisha Heights gorofa ya gatatu kana kuria mwena wa Ruiru Doctors Plaza gorofa ya keri kana utuhurire thimu neo 0704 000 333.
Farm Ventures Limited, guiding you to own.
Welcome back, and this indeed is Gen Z Manifesto. Mahali tunasema tunaongea itutoke. Na before we took that commercial break, tulikuwa tumeuliza swali. Tunasema mtoto wa nyoka ni nyoka. The current leadership is so much energetic and enthusiastic to raise fault. Tuonyeshe tunasema makosa zao ni gani. But what is so different about Gen Z that they will solve all the problems with the current leadership? Tuanze na Okayo.
Mtoto wa nyoka ni nyoka. Let me tell you, hata mtoto wa nyoka uwerevuka. So the thing is, well, these are, let me say, these are, lakini mimi sina parent wangu hapo, but these are, let's say our parents are oldies and the guys. But we have never seen a country as charged as we are now. We have never seen a country whose general populace agrees that we need change and that what is happening is totally wrong and that we need an overhaul of the current system. We need to drain the swamp. We have never had that, but now we have that. The thing is, we have had a system where citizens worship politicians, they worship leaders. You see, if an MP comes to your area, it's like God has, it has happened to you. God has done you favors, and that this guy has come to your place. Instead of us holding them to account, or rather, instead of them holding them to account, they used to praise and worship them and say, oh, thank you for coming to my home. Thank you for even donating 20,000 Kenya shillings or 5,000 Kenya shillings. Now, that is what has been happening. But huyu mtoto wa nyoka amefundishwa. Huyu mtoto wa nyoka amekuwa na free primary education that was brought in by former President Kibaki. Huyu mtoto wa nyoka anaweza soma akiwa amekaa kwake pale kwa seat kwa nyumba. Huyu mtoto wa nyoka akona internet and they can connect to anyone and everyone across the world. Now, they did not have the benefit of having all that. We do have the benefit of having that and learning the truth about what is going in leadership and governance. That is why we are not the same as them.
All right.
Things have changed.
Things have changed. And allow me to take it from Charlotte. Yeah. We'll continue with this conversation. Do you agree with what he says?
I kind of agree on one side, and then I kind of have to add something else on top, which
Please do.
is, number one, dear Kenyans. I know our president amezoea kusema hivyo, but let me just start with that. My dear Kenyans, I'll have to say this as Gen Z is no longer an age group. It's a movement, it's a mindset, right? So when you say Gen Z, I'm including my parent, I'm including even my go back at home, I'm including also her as well. But we also have to take accountability to what we are doing also on the ground kama wa Kenya. If you say, what's the difference between wewe kusema I'm overlapping on the road matatu and the MP mwenye ameweka gazla yake mafuta za kukupita. There's no difference between the two of you. Or you enter matatu, it's full. Why do you want to jump on in again na imejaa tena? There's no difference with that mindset ya MP as well. So it also starts with us. It also starts with Kenya still has one of the highest rates of femicide and GBV, right? How do we say we want accountability from this government and yet I'm going to beat my wife in the evening, right? How do we say we want accountability in this nation? Bado tunapeana bribe kwa barabara, and I understand tumewekwa kwa position yenye we have to give that so that we can be let go, but it also starts with us as Kenyans. It also starts with us with saying nikirudi nyumbani when I'm closing the door and I'm speaking ill of Willie Obe's tribe, there's no difference with me and a politician basi, then we are being hypocrites, all of us. So it also starts with us as Kenyans, and we can't ask for accountability from the top if from us we are doing exactly the same thing.
All right, thank you very much. And we continue with this conversation here. Lakini unajua tukiongea kwa studio inaweza ka story ya jaba. So it's important that we also engage those on ground. We have Majibu coming to us live from UON pale, anaungana na some youths who get to tell us as well their side of this story. Majibu.
Aya, nimezoa kurudishwa na Miss Kahiro na Shangala. Kwani leo nikagina tena? Sawa basi. Tumerudi, tumekuwa hiyo break imekuwa ndefu lakini ni sawa tu. Majenzini kwa nao bado wewe. Tumerudi bana. Nani alikuwa wa mwisho? Acha ni bonge na bazenga hapa hivi kuja hapa. Acha nianze na hii. Do you feel Gen Zs have all what it takes to maintain good leadership? Because tunabonga kuhusu accountability na pia good leadership. Sasa hii mpaka tu chance tuseme basi serikali ni yenu basi Gen Z. Mko na hizo leadership skills ama una feel bado kuna kitu na lack?
Of course, yes, we are capable of running this country as ourselves, as Gen Zs, because there is diversity of skills in Gen Zs. Kuna wale IT, kuna wale political scientists, kuna wale like we have every types of skills in Gen Z, and we are able to run this country.
Haya. Acha niulize pia kuja wewe msajaongea. Wewe ulikuwa na shout huko nyuma na sawa. Strategies za ku maintain good leadership.
So the strategies on how to maintain good leadership. I think you should be more engaging with the youths, more so the Gen Zs. The Gen Zs are the learned people. We are learned and we are capable of running this country. Tuko na uwezo. Na from the government leaders wenye tumaona au watu wako huko juu hawajali issues zetu kama Gen Zs, and so it's high time that us we make our own leadership by ourselves.
Aya, fiti. Kuna niomba niongee na Bazenga hapa. Acha basi nikuulize pia wewe mazee. Unadhani ni strategies gani labda Gen Zs mnaweza maintain za strategies gani za ku maintain good leadership za Gen Zs?
Sasa mimi nitaenda contrary na venye majenzi wenzangu wanasema, because tukiangalia government inafanya kazi, tupatie government chance ifanye kazi. Hatuwezi kuwa that there are some Gen Z who feel that they are more Gen Z than others. We are Gen Zs, na wacha tupatie government chance ifanye kazi, because kila kitu tukijaribu kila kitu government inafanya kazi,
so kila kitu iko sawa.
Kila kitu iko sawa apart from tunaangalia maybe place kama corruption, which government inasikiza. Tukisema kama Gen Z government rekebisha hapa, inarekebisha. Ni vile Gen Zs wanatoka like they feel that some Gen Z, not all of Gen Zs wana feel that government ifanye kazi. Kuna section ya Gen Z na feel government ifanye kazi, na kuna section ya Gen Z na feel government akaza.
So una feel like Gen Zs are divided?
Gen Zs are divided as we speak now.
Na wengi ni wagani? Wengi ni wale wana feel like kuna challenges kwa leadership, ama wengine wana feel basi government inafanya kazi.
Okay, me personally hakuna government iko perfect in the old world. Kila government iko na challenges zake, na kama kuna challenge kama sisi we are the youth and the Gen Zs tunaangalia, we are here to support the government na pia correctify government place inafanya wrong.
Haya, acha nirudi kwako, ama nani au uko umebonga bado?
Swali, hujauliza swali.
Na kuuliza, tumeuliza msee hapa hivi, strategies labda Gen Z za kuona zile strategies zenye wana feel basi tukiapply hizi kila kitu inaweza kuwa fit.
Gen Z strategy yetu ya kwanza ni because we don't have enough representation kwa government, both kwa legislature executive na hata kwa judiciary. Unajua hao ni wazee wengi. Na the best way ya kuwapush, strategy yetu ya kwanza ni kuwapush hawa through force. Because unajua tuwezi acha nchi yetu imess. Now the government hii imemess. Unaona kila mahali. The government is unpopular. In unpopular that policy zenye wanaleta ni unpopular. Walileta popular ya policy ya education, unaona imescrapiwa na court. Walileta sha imekuwa ikipelekwa court, inaangushwa, wanaenda wanarekebisha, imeangushwa. Walienda mambo ya chanjo ya wanyama, hata hakuna mtu anachanja wanyama yake. Walijaribu kujenga barabara siji ya 1000 kilometers, hata hakuna 1 kilometer imejengwa. So the government is unpopular. Governments imekuwa across all over the world. Unaona government ikideliver, wananchi wana appreciate that they have tried, but this one they are not trying. They are trying in terms of words. Maneno watasema maneno
kidogo tu, namba nafaa kurudisha, but acha basi niulize swali ya mwisho kabisa. Umesema wenye hizo positions wengi ni wazae. Do you feel like unafaa kuwa na age bracket ya huyu anafaa kuwa leader? Ukishamaliza miaka fanya aje? Mlango ndio ile ishia.
Our resolution this time around the agency ni hivi. Kwanza tumekuwa na mazungumzo mingi, na mazungumzo venye tumeresolve ni hivi. This time we want as many youths as possible.
Muongea wapi? Na tuoni mkibonga.
We talk online, we talk kwa social media, tunafanyanga forum zetu. We always have forums. A lot of forums. Maybe wewe ukwangi ama the media does not support us a lot because they have been bought by the government. We know that and we are aware.
Bro,
media imenunuliwa na serikali. Na watu wa media hata wakinunuliwa na serikali, sisi tuko na other means. Watu wa mainstream media wamenunuliwa na serikali. Tuko na social media, tutapush through the social media.
Wewe sema hivyo bana, napiga show ya Gen Z manifesto hapa, nimekuwa hapa tangu saa ngapi man?
Especially some of the watu wengi wa media umeona. The likes of the big journalists wamebaiwa na nini? Except the few wenye wanasimama. So kitu tunafanya, lazima government ijue hivi. This time around vijana wengi wanaenda kuchukua hizo nini. Juu sisi ndio unajua kwa the IBC data, majority more than 50% of the voters are youths.
Kidogo tu swali ya mwisho alafu nirudishe studio. Nani mwingine mwenye swali ya mwisho kuja hivi. Briefly, kunafaa kuwa na age bracket ya labda public servants. Unafeel ikifika hii miaka msiajitoe.
Age bracket is necessary vile, but actually your skills are enough for you to lead this country. If you are capable and you are able to manage the country, we are able to vote you in. It's not supposed to be that maybe you are 40, 23 or 20, which matter. Age doesn't matter.
Asante. Haya. Namba nafaa kurudisha na Dan. Unataka kunia mwisho? Time imeisha man. A second. One.
A second, we want to urge all the youth and the Gen Zs all over Kenya that let's keep the government in check. To keep the government in check yenye wakimes juu anytime tunaona watusikizi na anytime tunaweza rudi our ways. So let's keep them in check. Let's keep conversation going. Na tusiwapatie chance. Tukiwapatia watu chance watatunyanyasa. So to keep the chance tukijipanga 2027 mambo ikikuja ikuwe ni
second imeisha, umeongea dakika 3. Sawa, lakini umesikia Miss Kahiro, Kagina na Linda majinzo wamebonga from the ground, umewasikia, na pia I hope pia wenye wako studio pia watapata kuchangia na wamesikia Kenya wamebonga, na pia watajaribu pia mazee kuona venye majinzi wanaweza pata chance ya kumaintain good leadership, na pia at the end of the day accountability ni muhimu sana. Majibu Kitsao natoka ground na kujapo ofisi zetu sahi. Narudisha Kagina ama Linda. Hebu niseme Kagina. Haya, Kagina, chukua usukani.
Well indeed, asante sana Majibu. Tutasikia what the youths have to say on that end. Na bila shaka we have also more of them, and especially those who are aspiring kuingia kwa hiyo special leadership. Tuko nao hapa kwa studio na wako na Linda. Linda, how about you continue the conversation?
You know, Kagina, bado akili yangu iko pale kwa mtoto wa nyoka ni nyoka. And I was wondering whether nyoka na mtoto wake wanaweza ishi nyumba moja in this concept whereby there is new generation, Gen Zs, and there is old generation. So I'm wondering, is there space for all of them to work together, or it's a Gen Z takeover? What do you think of that?
Good evening. My name is Githuku Kiama. I am a Pan-Africanist from Kasarani Social Justice Center, and I also be seeking to represent the great people of Giri constituency as their member of parliament in the 14th parliament.
Mm-hmm.
So that question you have asked me, I would say, previously I would have said it doesn't matter whether the cat is white or black. if the cat eats rat, it's a good rat. It's a good cat if it eats rat. But in this context, the cat does not eat rats, which are corruption, laziness, laxity, and all the evil that this government has been practicing. So asking me whether there can be a coexistence between the nyoka and the mother or the father, that one would be something close to impossible because of this sense. Let me use Gen Z as a subculture, and we say mtoto anafuata kisogo cha ninaye. But this subculture is different. Because in cultural hegemony, the bigger culture influences the smaller culture. The same way like people from the global south dreams to live the American dream.
Aki una mafumbo.
Yes, okay, mafumbo.
Okay, you have like 30 seconds.
Okay, so
okay, you have like
it is a reflection of the larger part of.
I think there's no accountability. And you find, how can an MP say that their net worth is 1 billion Kenyan shillings, an equivalent of $7 million, but there's no startup, no business that he has ever started that is actually known unto the public? And then, for me, it's from a place of, it's from this place. As much as us as Gen Z want clear leadership and we want change in our leadership, it has to start with us. And that looks like servant leadership for each and every single one of us, because you can't tell me that 14 million people are eligible to vote, but they're still thinking the same way as their father thought of how politics is to get into power and to eat money.
Wow.
So even the ones who are sitting in this table, in this seat right now, I'm challenging us. As much as yes, we want to aspire to actually get into these positions, what kind of different leadership are we bringing into
Thank
it?
you.
Is it a leadership of titles, or is it a leadership of radical servanthood, not to yourself, but unto the people of this great republic?
I wish we had more time. You have super points. Kali, final thoughts.
Yeah, sure.
In 1 minute.
Okay, sure. We are different from the previous generation because we are a generation that is asking questions. The generation that was there was not asking questions. And you will see when we had our own Tomboya Mkora and our very own Zelensky, when they went out of the line, we soldiered on and we asked the question. So we are a generation that is asking questions, and that is why we are different from the previous generation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well,
I mean,
the mic has been passed. You have 30 seconds because you have to share with him as well.
Yeah, I understand. As a parting shot, I want to tell Kenyans that integrity in leadership is what we require for the greater good, for a prosperous Kenya. So tusiongelele mambo ingine. Let's call back these leaders when they're home. Let's have new ideas, new blood, in people with integrity and people who are going to be accountable to the people they serve.
Thank you so much. A quick conclusion.
Yes.
I know everyone would love to have their conclusion.
Yes, my conclusion would be, the biggest problem we have is that the government policies that are in place has a disconnect with the common mwananchis, or what common mwananchi wants. Therefore, it is a takeover for the Gen Zs because we are the ones who feels the heat on the ground. When we get back to our grounds, we are the ones who feels that heat. And therefore, it is a takeover for us. We get to that parliament so that we can structure and formulate policies that are going to connect to the common mwananchi. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much for your contribution. I wish we had more time. Mabonga, you've been here, resident as well. So we truly appreciate your time. And I know Kagina still has a lot lined up for you. So we take it back to Kagina. My name is Linda Koske. See you again next Tuesday for yet another exciting episode of Gen Z Manifesto.
Well, indeed, Linda, it's never a complete conversation if we don't have the solutions. But before that, allow me to have a one-statement parting shot from my guests, starting from Okayo. One sentence as we close this segment.
Kenya, tuache kudiscuss wanasiasa. Let's discuss issues and come out, support the movement, because we have to change the current system.
Thank you. Charlotte?
Okay, dear Kenyans, politicians don't care about you. Their kids marry each other, they do businesses together. Wewe kwa ballot, vote na akili yako tafadhali. Please, let's stop being tribalic. We are the generation that we are going to change that. And yeah, that's it. Mungu anawapenda, man. Mungu anawapenda.
Sometimes leadership is building trees in spaces that will grow shade where we'll not take shade in. So me and you are workers, not master builders. We are prophets of a future, not our own. So this is a marathon. Msichoke.
Well, indeed, that is what the panelists on this end had to say. But indeed, here on Gen Z Manifesto, even as we sum up conversations, we try and bring up a summary of the solutions that we've raised. And from the discussions that we've had today or tonight, most of the solutions recommended are covered under Chapter 6 of the Kenyan Constitution, which speaks on integrity, objectivity and impartiality, accountability, transparency, selfless service, as well as other aspects which are covered under the Constitution, because what we say in the country, we do not have a shortage of laws that cater, we do not have a shortage of laws to guide the direction the country is supposed to be taking, but rather the law is very clear. It also speaks on other aspects expected of leaders, which also include discipline and commitment, honesty, respect for the rule of law, good governance, avoidance of conflict of interest, where people are engaging and doing business with their own family or with their own businesses. It also goes ahead and mentions that leaders need public trust. They also need to have competence and efficiency, patriotism and national unity, responsibility in public resources, and finally, ethical conduct. This is clearly mentioned already in the Constitution, so we don't need new laws to transform this country. We just need to adhere to them. And as the Gen Zs are saying, well, indeed, they believe they are confident enough to actualize this law. For the current leaders, my parting shot to you tonight would be, the only constant thing is change. You either change or you will be changed. From me, David Kagina, that's it. To you, Ms. Kahiro.
All right, Kagina, such a powerful statement right there. Now, as we close the show tonight, leo acha sina maneno mengi, only one thing. This time, make sure you consider the red flags as red flags, not pink comfy blankets. We ignored the signs last time. Now look at us, hustling to stay alive just because someone knelt at the altar and cried a river. Let us purpose to stay woke, beloved. That's it from us today. I'm Miss Kahiro. This has been the Gen Z Manifesto. See you next Tuesday, same time, same place. Good night.
Kameme TV, muthegi wa ruriri.
Santa vuko na cash box na best now metabo ine ya Kameme TV. Hello kiri na mweka kuya besha kumagwa Kameme TV. Okwa dhimo yaku yagwe kwa hinya star 317 hash. Dhimo yaku yagwe kwa hinya star 317 hash. Wahinyo gwori ukona box idano